What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're back with another treasure map preparation video, talking about treasure map Smoker. So of course, in these videos, we're going to be talking about not only the character that we're all going to be farming for, being Smoker, but we'll also go through the bosses, including the battle rush, the intrusion battle, and giving you guys some free-to-play team options that will work in this treasure map. So hopefully you guys do go on to enjoy today's video, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. First thing is first, let's talk about the brand new treasure map character being Smoker. He is a quick fighter driven character, 60 cost, 5 socket spots as per usual. His captain ability will boost fighter and driven by 3.25 times attack and also give you a varying degree of damage reduction. So the lower your health is, the more damage reduction you receive from this character. So at 1 HP you get 40%, at full HP you get 0%, meaning at half health you're going to be at approximately 20% damage reduction, which is pretty decent. Honestly, for a free to play unit, his captain ability is very usable. Just a regular 3.25 boost to 2 separate classes is actually really good. Now as for his special, which maxes at 14 turns, it is very good. Deals 100 times his attack in typeless damage to a single enemy. He'll also boost fighter and driven characters' slot effects by 2 times for 1 turn, and if your captain happens to be fighter or driven, you also get a 0.7 chain boost on top of that as well for 1 turn. So this unit obviously is being built for Douglas Bullet teams. Under Douglas Bullet, you'll get both of these effects to activate, getting a 2 times ore boost and the chain boost. Chain boosting is very nice for Douglas Bullet because typically you want to make sure that he is doing the most damage on your team, and chain boosting is one of the best effects that you can apply to make sure that Douglas Bullet's damage is amplified by a pretty significant margin. So this unit obviously is really good for that, but just outside of that, being fighter and driven can be put on a lot of different teams, of course, and he's going to help out just a lot of different teams. So he's just a really nice unit to have, and obviously, as we said before, captain ability is very usable. You can hybrid him up with a lot of other characters as well. So this is definitely a character that I would suggest to max out in the treasure map. First thing is first, let's go ahead and talk about the intrusion battle, which is going to be against Smoker. The first of these bosses will be against Tascon though, on stage 2, where she has 540,000 HP and her preemptive attack applies 7 turns of chain coefficient reduction. She also applies a 98 turn chance to get badly matching slots, and then whilst applying that, she also randomly shuffles your orbs into colored orbs, so obviously giving you a higher chance to get non-beneficial slots for your team, which is not very ideal. And then you can move on to stage 3 for the intrusion battle, which is going to be against Smoker himself. He obviously is a quick unit. He has 1.7 million HP, but the thing is, with his preemptive attack, he will randomly change into just another color, and that's basically it. So having Douglas Bullet, of course, is very useful, as it doesn't matter what color he changes into, Bullet will have the type advantage, so that's the main draw to this particular boss fight. He has a 98 turn immunity shield as well, so you can't delay, poison, or reduce his defense. Under 50% he applies Threshold, under 20% he applies 50 turns of Despair, so definitely don't get him below 20%. And if you use any type of orb boosting effect, he's going to shuffle all of your orbs into block orbs. That doesn't really look like he actually removes the orb boost, so if you have a way to change block orbs into matching, that actually really doesn't matter in any way, so it's fine. But there are plenty of characters that you can use to get around that anyway. So the free-to-play team that I'm suggesting to you guys is obviously utilizing a friend captain Douglas Bullet, as he's built for this fight essentially, and the new dual unit that came out in the previous treasure map, being Akainu and Fujitora, is so good for Douglas Bullet because their special ability not only give your whole team a full board of matching orbs under Douglas Bullet, but you also get his switch ability, which grants you a 1.5 orb boost to, I believe it's strength, int, and dex characters. So that is a really powerful effect and a really nice switch ability that you can apply without actually triggering the Smoker special ability, so that's really nice to have. As for the other units on this team, they're basically just filler units. The Summer Margaret that was available in the previous Kizuno mode is actually really good because her special ability is a 1.75 times attack boost to strength, quick, and int characters, so built perfectly for Douglas Bullet. And you've got the Zoro to give you color affinity to your driven units, being Douglas Bullet, and you've also got just 2 other filler units in the Smoker and the Warple and Foxy, just to give you a little bit more points for your team. So intrusion battle aside, now we can move on to the regular bosses where you will have to build separate teams for each of these upcoming bosses. Obviously, if you are on the East Blue mode, it doesn't really matter what team you build, but obviously we just had the Smoker, which was the intrusion battle where you can run any unit that you want, and now we move on to the regular bosses here, which is Kid and Killer for these first bosses. Kid and Killer is a strength unit, of course, with 540,000 HP. They also have a preemptive attack of 6 turns of Despair, also 19 turns attack down given to Strength, Dex, and Psi characters only, and all of your orbs will be changed into either Psi or Int, and below 50% you get given 3 turns of Paralysis and 5 turns of increased damage taken, and below 20% they deal 2 times their regular attack as damage to your team, and they also will apply 99 turns of an end of turn damage debuff. So you do not want to get them below any of those health thresholds. You definitely want to take them out on turn 1 if at all possible. So the team that I am suggesting for you guys here is utilizing the brand new character that just came out, being the Apu and Capone. Their special ability is very good because it not only removes the despair that will be inflicted to your team as long as you have your max sockets, but it also applies an orb boost to your free spirit and shooter characters, which is really nice to have. Another character you can bring here is the treasure map Boa Hancock. She's really good here because of the preemptive attack giving you a guaranteed full board of Int or Psi. It means that the Boa Hancock special is perfect for applying not only the conditional boost but her orb boost as well, so you can really choose which one you want to activate. It doesn't really matter, but Boa Hancock's special ability can be completely activated here, which is great. Just the other characters are just kind of filler. You've got Raid Kizaru to guarantee you a matching orb on himself. He also chain boosts as well. And then you've got Brindy World Coliseum to boost the attack of your shooter characters. And then Magellan and Hannibal are just kind of there just as extra characters on the team. But you can shuffle it around. If you do have Legend Zephyr, I'd probably suggest bringing him along, as you can use his special ability to not only health cut, but also give you some tap timing bonus damage, which will be pretty useful in this fight. So if you have Zephyr or even a Zephyr friend captain, that's going to help you out significantly in this fight. But predominantly building a team of quick and int characters is going to be the best way, as you can alleviate the attack down that will be applied to your team. The next boss is going to be against Basil Hawkins. Basil Hawkins is a strength unit and he has 690,000 HP. His preemptive will blind you for 3 turns, and for 9 turns, strength, quick, and int orbs are going to be counted as badly matching for your team. He also applies a counter, and that counter will be activated every 2 turns. So how much damage you've dealt, 10% of the damage that you dealt to him will be repelled back to your team, and in most cases that will kill you. So ideally you want to take him down in the first 2 turns, and if you are unable to do that, you will most likely die. So be very, very careful with that. So in terms of the characters that I suggest here, this is just a pure powerhouse team utilizing Double Jack as your captain. You can definitely switch things around here, but the main reason why I opted to suggest the Jack team was mainly because of Treasure Map Big Mom. Treasure Map Big Mom is a 1.2 times point boost to this treasure map, which is useful because you can use her special ability to not only give you all those massive boosts that she provides, but she gives you a full board of G orbs, which can get around the negative orb enable that gets applied through the preemptive attack. So building a team around Treasure Map Big Mom, or just building a team with Treasure Map Big Mom on it, is going to be your best bet for taking down Basil Hawkins as quick as possible. So the next boss is going to be against Rogue and X-Drake. He is a Dex unit and has 580,000 HP. Their preemptive, quite simply, is just a 98 turn immunity buff, but after every single turn they will buff their own attack by a slightly higher margin, and also every single turn they recover 80% of their max HP. So ideally you just want to take them down in 1 turn. You don't really want to have to wait and then see them stall up and get their health back and boost their attack by even more. You just take them down in 1 turn, quite simply. There are plenty of good strength units that are boosted in this treasure map, so you really shouldn't have any problems against this character. The team that I suggest here is utilizing Treasure Map Ace. Obviously with their special ability you'll get a full board of matching slots, you'll get the type boost for your strength, quick, and psi characters, and you've also got Raid Bellamy, who is an orb booster, and just with the Ace special and the Bellamy special, that's more than enough damage to take down your Rogue and X-Drake for a very, very long time in the treasure map. Now, the last of these bosses before we reach the final boss is going to be against Capone. Now, Capone is an int character with 400,000 HP. His preemptive will give your whole team 3 turns of special bind, and also 3 turns of % damage reduction is put onto Capone. He also changes your orbs into either colored orbs or block orbs, so having a block orb remover is very useful if need be. Also, after turn 3, he will enrage himself, and when you do kill Capone, he will revive with 30% of his HP. HP, he will slot bind your captains for 10 turns, and he will become a dex unit and also summons 5 mob characters. So in terms of units that are going to be helpful here, this is the team that I am suggesting. It is a slasher team with the treasure map Mihawk as a captain, and the main reason for that is utilizing Colosseum Law as a sub, because not only does he provide a really good attack boost for your team, but he also removes special bind, which will be inflicted to your crew. So having that's very good. Also, Raid Zoro is on this team to remove the % damage reduction that Capone applies to himself, and he also applies a color affinity boost, so your characters will be doing more damage. And then the other characters surrounding it, we've got just like the Fortnite Brook, Raid Fuji, just to guarantee us some beneficial slots. But with this team, it can't remove the block orbs, so that will be one thing about this team that I really don't like. But in terms of characters that I would suggest if you have them, definitely Rare Recruit Karina is so good here, because Karina from the Filled Gold batch not only removes the rainbow shield on the enemy side of the field, but she also changes your block orbs into matching. So if you have Karina, definitely use her. And then for special bind, there aren't really too many other options for this. There's the Law and also the Fortnite Anne that came out recently on Global. And if you don't have any of those characters maxed out, then 5+ Robin, even though she's not a point booster, will be a pretty decent unit to run on this team as well. So now we've finally made it to the final boss fight, which is going to be against Monkey D. Luffy, but prior to that, on stage 6, we have Usopp. Usopp is an int character with 400,000 health, and his preemptive will have 98 turns of delay immunity and 2 turns of a 2-hit perfect barrier. If you don't kill him after the first turn, he will go ahead and bind 3 random units on your team for 5 turns, and he does that every 3 turns. You definitely want to make sure you can kill him after that first turn, otherwise that bind will be very, very annoying to deal with. And then following that, on stage 7 is going to be the final boss against Luffy. He is a Psy unit and has 1 million health. His preemptive will special bind Dex, Quick, and Psy characters only for 3 turns, and for 5 turns he applies a 1.01 times chain lock to your team. After turn 1, he will apply an immunity buff and also enrages for 99 turns, which will give him a buffed attack boost as well. And below 20%, he does apply 8 turns of resilience. So in terms of the units that I would suggest for this fight, once again, Douglas Bullet is going to be your best bet, not only because he's a high point booster, but being super effective against all types is very, very useful to have in treasure maps. And it is very similar. This team is very, very similar to the Smoker team that I suggested near the beginning of this video, but mainly predominantly focusing on strength and int characters, as you can then avoid the special bind on stage 7, which will be very, very nice, especially because Douglas Bullet boosts both of those colors. So the Akainu and Fuji is another great option to run as a captain. On this team here, you can see we have the treasure map Smoker once again. He will be special binded on the final boss room, so that's really not going to be too useful to have, but of course he is a high point booster. Colosseum Magellan is a pretty good option here, because on turn 1 you can apply debuffs to Luffy, because he doesn't get the immunity buff until after the first turn. And the thing is Magellan does have a sailor ability which resists 3 turns of special bind, so you are actually able to use Colosseum Magellan on the final boss fight. So that is a really good unit that I would suggest to bring for this team. As for the other units, that is completely up to you and what other characters you bring on your other teams, but make sure that they are boosted by Douglas Bullet as your friend captain. So now that we've gone through everything in this video in terms of all the bosses and all the teams, here is just a quick rundown once again of all the free-to-play teams that I have suggested to you guys in this video. So obviously against Smoker, utilizing Douglas Bullet as your friend captain is going to be your best bet, considering Smoker can change colors randomly to whatever color he wants. So Douglas Bullet will just completely ignore that, and then using the Akainu Fuji as the regular captain will be your best bet if you don't have Douglas Bullet yourself. And then for the rest of the units, you've got Margaret for a type boost, Zoro for a color affinity, and just the other units are regular filler characters. The next one against Kid and Killer, having the Apu and Capone is very good for this fight, removing the despair that gets inflicted. They also apply an orb boost, and because of the preemptive attack, it means that you can get all of the effects off with the Treasure Map Boa Hancock special ability, so she is a really good unit to bring in the fight against Kid and Killer. Now against Hawkins, Treasure Map Big Mom is going to be really nice here, as Strength, Quick, and Int Orbs are going to be negative for your team for 9 turns, so having Treasure Map Big Mom just to give you all of her boosts and her G Orbs is going to be really nice, and then just bring some quick characters that can deal some really good damage towards the Strength Hawkins. Drake and you Rogue, he's a Dex unit. He doesn't really do anything, he just buffs his own attack after every single turn, so basically bring a bunch of powerful strength units and kill him as soon as possible. That is the best way to get through Drake and you Rogue. And then against Capone, really annoying with the special bind, but with Colosseum Law you can get around that. Also he has a rainbow shield, and you've got Raid Zoro to get around that, and you're basically just running a slasher team team here. He does revive after that turn as well, and he does summon more mobs, but if you do save one of the Mihawk specials until after he revives, you can use the Mihawk special to just wipe all the mobs away and get lots of boosts after that as well. And then the final team against Luffy, as we just discussed, pretty similar to the Smoker team that was suggested a little earlier, except now we can actually use someone like the Colosseum Magellan, because Luffy does not have an immunity shield on turn 1, so you can use his special ability to get a conditional boost. Douglas Bullet does lots of damage. You've got an orb boost with the switch ability of Akainu and Fujitora, and then the rest of the team you can fill it out with whatever you like. But that is going to conclude this video today, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video breaking down treasure map Smoker. Good luck to everyone that is farming this treasure map. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.